You have the power to transform yourself. Within you lies an energy that has never been extinguished, awakening every time you make a choice, no matter how small. It may have remained hidden beneath the weight of discouragement, obstacles that seemed impossible, comparisons that stole your confidence, and falls that seemed like definitive endings, but were in reality just disguised beginnings. And often, it's also that inner voice of self-sabotage, insisting you're not worth the effort. Yet a single choice is enough to reignite that inner spark. This is not magic or luck. It's the power of deciding to move forward a little more each day. Marcus Aurelius reminded us clearly, turn your gaze inward. There lies the source of good, and it can flow endlessly if you always dig deep within it. Now think, if you improve just 1% each day, where could you be a year from now? What boundaries would you have surpassed? Today I want to share 11 Stoic quotes, simple yet powerful, that can awaken your inner strength, transform your mindset, and show you how the world responds to your decisions. If this episode becomes a turning point for you, write in the comments, "Today I choose change," because every transformation begins the very moment you decide to act. Before we begin with the first teaching, remember to like, comment, and share this content. Only then can this message reach more people who need clarity and inner strength. Quote 1. If someone tells you that another person has spoken badly about you, don't try to justify yourself or explain what was said. Instead, respond, "I wasn't aware they had other flaws. Otherwise, they wouldn't have focused only on these." This is how Epictetus taught us. Hearing that someone spoke negatively about you hurts. It's like a punch you didn't see coming. Your chest tightens, your mind looks for excuses, and the impulse to defend yourself arises. It's natural. We all crave respect, approval, and recognition. However, Epictetus points to another path, the path of inner maturity. He invites us to take criticism lightly, even with humor, because someone who truly knows themselves doesn't need to fight to prove their worth. Think of a $100 bill. Even if it's wrinkled, stained, or torn, its value remains intact. The same goes for you. No criticism can diminish someone who knows their own value. Achieving that clarity, however, requires growth. Growth emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and even financially, because when you strengthen all of these areas, you no longer depend on external validation. Other people's opinions may still make noise, but they lose weight in your life. Many believe that progress means only accumulating wealth, but without balance, life's scale tilts dangerously. Material abundance is useless if you carry an inner void, just as spiritual depth is meaningless if you live at the expense of others. True growth is the kind that sustains your peace, clarity, and autonomy, and it is this inner strength that shields you from criticism, not by making you arrogant, but by showing you that your energy is too valuable to spend on pointless battles. From today, choose to focus your energy on what builds you up. Feed healthy thoughts, break patterns that drain your self-esteem, and align your mind with what fuels your growth. That is what truly makes you indestructible. If this teaching resonates with you, write in the comments, "My focus is on what builds me up." And the next time someone tries to hurt you with words, remember, you are not what others say about you. You are what you choose to be. Quote 2. Adopt role differentiation. Epictetus. Much of our emotional chaos arises from an impossible attempt, trying to play all roles at once without fully embracing any. We crave the benefits of one role while simultaneously demanding the freedom of another. It's like someone who desires a deep, committed relationship but still behaves as if they were single, or someone who dreams of entrepreneurship but insists on maintaining the comfort of a stable employee routine, or a person longing for children but perceiving every responsibility as unbearable, or someone who yearns for peace yet continues sowing conflict in daily life. Epictetus reminds us that clarity comes from choice. First, identify the roles you have chosen to take on. Then honor them with consistency and integrity. If you try to occupy every space at once, you end up fully present in none. That is maturity. having the courage to respond to what life demands of you in this moment, even when your desire is to escape. And yet, among all the roles we may play, parent, professional, partner, friend, there is one role no one can live for you, the role of being truly yourself. You can accompany, influence, and care, but you can never control another. Your power lies solely in how you choose to act. It is choosing to remain calm when someone tries to provoke you. It is offering your presence even when your mind wants to flee. It is respecting a friend's space without carrying guilt that isn't yours. Every circumstance is a test, and Stoicism is the training that helps you stay centered. As Seneca said, the wise are self-sufficient, yet they choose to have friends, neighbors, and companions. Not out of need, but because they understand that authentic connections amplify the good already within them. That is the essence of this teaching. When you are strong internally, you bring more presence, truth, and consistency to everything you do. You feel complete because you recognize the role you have chosen and have the courage to live it fully. Quote 3. Master your mind, master your life. Epictetus. Until you learn to guide your mind, it will be pulled in every direction, by news that spreads fear, by comparisons that make you feel inferior, by worries that drain your energy. You wake up reacting, spend the day putting out fires and end exhausted, feeling as if you've done a lot but lived nothing of real importance. Epictetus warns us, either you take the helm of your mind or you will be swept along by the current of circumstances. And not everyone setting the pace out there intends to take you to a good destination. The world drags you away from yourself, scatters you, consumes you. If you're not careful, you could spend your entire life on autopilot, busy, tired, but with an empty spirit. Mastering the mind does not mean silencing all thoughts, but choosing which ones deserve your attention. It means daring to say, this fear does not define me. This comparison does not serve me. This thought does not have to become reality. When you become aware of this, you create a space between what happens and how you feel. That space is the ground of freedom. There, you can breathe, reflect, and decide. There, self-control, serenity, and clarity are born. The training starts with the simple things. When someone tries to provoke you, and you choose not to react. When something goes wrong, and instead of blaming yourself or the world, you calmly analyze. When anxiety arises, and instead of running, you observe, accept, and breathe. Every time you act this way, you strengthen the muscles of your mind. Gradually, you stop being reactive, impulsive, and vulnerable, and you become firm, clear-minded, and unshakable. Epictetus taught that the key to freedom is focusing only on what is within your control. By tending to what depends on you, your energy multiplies. But when you try to control what was never yours to command, you only waste strength. Mastering the mind means exactly that. Stop squandering energy trying to control the external world, and start investing it in how you think, feel, and act. When this shift occurs, chaos may still roar outside, but within you reigns peace. Ultimately, your life transforms when you understand that you are not a slave to your thoughts. You are the master of your inner house, and you have the right to decide who enters, who stays, and who is never admitted again. Quote 4. Before every challenge, remember the resources already within you to face it. Epictetus. When problems arise, the first enemy is not the situation itself, but the despair that follows. That suffocating feeling that you lack what's necessary, that you are too insignificant, too fragile, too inexperienced. But Epictetus reminds us of something essential. Before giving up, turn your gaze inward. You have already weathered other storms, already shed tears, already thought you wouldn't endure, and yet here you are, stronger, more sensitive, but also more aware. The mistake is forgetting your own strength. Every new obstacle may feel like the first, and your mind fires the doubt. Can I handle this? But the fairer question is, how many times have I already handled this? Within you already exist courage, patience, clarity, and discipline. Perhaps they are rusted, perhaps forgotten in some corner of your inner self, but they never left. It's like walking in the dark with a flashlight in your pocket. You feel fear, stumble, panic, until you remember to reach for it. And when you turn it on, you realize the way out has been in your hands all along. The Stoic practice is precisely that daily training, reminding yourself when the world tries to make you forget, using what you already possess instead of begging for something that may never come. When that mindset becomes habitual, something surprising happens. You learn to maintain calm amid chaos, not because life has become easy, but because you are no longer a prisoner of circumstances. Epictetus invites us to replace poor me with, thankfully, I have this within me. And when you achieve that shift, even for a few seconds, a serene, steadfast confidence arises, not dependent on chance, but on preparation. Because, as he reminded, luck is nothing more than the intersection of preparation and opportunity. And if you are prepared internally, even the worst scenario can become fertile ground for growth. Quote 5. Luck occurs when preparation meets opportunity. Seneca. How many times have you heard someone say, that person was lucky? What almost nobody notices are the silent early mornings, the hidden failures, the beginnings that no one applauded. Luck is nothing more than the elegant name we give to the meeting of effort and the right moment. And life doesn't send invitations for that meeting. It doesn't announce when opportunity will knock at your door. Often, it appears disguised as a crisis, rejection, or sudden change. Those who are prepared see a beginning, those who aren't see only an ending. It's tempting to wait for the perfect scenario, the ideal conditions, the appointed instant. But if you wait too long, you get trapped in desire and never take action. Stoicism reminds us, do not wait. Make use of what you have, in the time you have, in whatever way you can. Nietzsche called it amor fati, what the Stoics had practiced all along. To love fate is not to resign yourself. It is strength. It is transforming every event, even the most painful, into raw material for growth. Accepting the present doesn't mean surrendering, it means acting wisely. Wishing things were different changes nothing, but using what is with courage changes everything. Imagine an athlete who trains every day, even without knowing when they will be called to compete. They don't practice because a game is scheduled. They prepare because they understand that when the opportunity arrives, there will be no time to train. Either they are ready, or they fall behind. Life works the same way. You don't prepare when opportunity appears. You prepare beforehand, living with discipline, aligning your decisions with your principles, acting intentionally even on ordinary days. Those who live in preparation are not swept away by chance. Those who train internally find meaning even in what seems like a loss. Those who embrace reality with courage transform any circumstance into a lesson, and every lesson into growth. If this teaching resonates with you, write in the comments, "Today, I choose to live in preparation, because luck is not coincidence. It is the silent reward of those who were already ready." Quote 6. The invulnerable is not what never takes a hit, but what never gets harmed. From this, I will show you the wise. Seneca. Being strong doesn't mean remaining untouched. It means falling and rising again. It's feeling the impact but refusing to let it break you inside. Pain, criticism, loss, and unexpected events are inevitable parts of life. To deny them is to live in illusion. Seneca reminds us that true invulnerability is not found in dodging blows, but in learning to endure them without losing your essence. How many times have you been unsettled by a malicious word, or allowed a small setback to ruin your entire day? That is not fragility. It's a sign that you still grant more power to external circumstances than to yourself. From the Stoic perspective, the invulnerable is not rigid like a rock, but firm like bamboo, flexible enough to bend with the wind, yet impossible to uproot. That is real strength, building emotional stability that does not depend on what happens outside. But that solidity does not appear out of nowhere. It is forged in silence, in the daily practice of refusing to harm yourself with what does not deserve it. Negativity only finds refuge when we open the door, when we believe we are not enough, when we seek validation in others' eyes, when we stray from who we truly are. In those moments, any detail seems like a threat. But when you are whole inside, nothing external can bring you down. At most, it can teach you. Nietzsche put it clearly, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger." Being invulnerable doesn't mean not feeling. It means not being a slave to what you feel. It means recognizing that some situations deserve your response while others only deserve the silence of your indifference. Wisdom does not eliminate pain. It breaks the chains that bind you to it. What hurts is not the event itself, but the meaning you choose to give it. That is why Seneca does not invite us to be cold. He invites us to be free. Quote 7. No noise can reach you, and no word can pull you from your center. Seneca. This is the level of inner peace we all long for, a peace that does not depend on external silence but on the firmness we build within. Seneca describes the state of a trained mind, a mind that does not react to every provocation, that does not waver in the face of others' outbursts, and that does not surrender its serenity to the emotions of others. Imagine a deep river. On the surface, there may be waves, currents, and turbulence, but at the bottom, the water remains calm, silent, and undisturbed. That is the power of a centered mind. Reaching this state is not magic. It is practice. It is learning to gather yourself when necessary, to pause, to turn off your phone for a few minutes, to breathe deeply, and return to yourself. True self-control does not arise from brute force, but from the conscious decision not to be swept away by what tries to pull you outward. And it does not mean living in isolation. It means living in alignment. Alignment with your values, your principles, and what truly matters. When you have clarity about what guides your existence, external noise no longer has the power to divert you from your path. This discipline is built through simple gestures, an unhurried walk, a deep breath, writing a page at the end of the day. Each small ritual is a reminder that even if the world is in chaos, within you exists a safe refuge. The Stoic mind is selective. It chooses carefully what deserves attention, what should be nurtured, and what should be ignored. Marcus Aurelius expressed it this way: "I compel my mind to stay focused and avoid distraction from what comes from outside." He knew that concentration is a resource too valuable to waste. If there is one skill capable of transforming your life, it is this: staying present, investing energy only in what is under your control, and letting go of what never was. The peace you seek is not the absence of noise, but the strength you cultivate to prevent that noise from penetrating you. Quote 8. Stop talking about how a good person should be and dare to become one. Marcus Aurelius. We live in a time when everyone has an opinion about everything: how others should behave, what is right or wrong, what it means to be an evolved person. But the key question is not what you say, but how much you embody what you claim to believe. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of a simple yet powerful truth. Words do not build character. What inspires is not the speech but the conduct, especially the conduct no one sees. Many preach kindness, but treat those who cannot give them anything in return with disdain. They speak of empathy but judge without understanding. They defend justice but remain silent when it would be more convenient to look the other way. Stoicism breaks that mask. It urges us to replace theory with practice, words with action, discourse with consistency. Being a good person does not mean being perfect, but being whole and integral. It means acknowledging mistakes, asking for forgiveness, listening before responding, acting with justice even when it would be easier to look away. It means keeping your word, even when no one demands it. And this is only achieved by developing a strength that does not seek applause, a strength born of self-control, clarity of values, and the conscious decision to act with integrity even when impulses shout otherwise. The Stoic does not suppress emotions. They observe them. They do not eliminate feelings. They learn to live with them without being carried away. In that practice, they attain something rare: resilience, consistency, and inner peace. True strength is not reacting immediately. It is responding with awareness. It is choosing the right attitude when the easiest path is to surrender to ego. Those who cultivate this clarity speak less and act more. They inspire without announcing it. They become someone others can trust because their solidity is evident in every gesture. Life honors those who live what they believe. More valuable than public admiration is being able to look in the mirror and feel respect for yourself. For those who live in truth dwell in peace, and those who live in peace transform the world even in silence. Quote 9. In any place and at any moment, you always have the possibility to choose, to accept what happens with humility, to treat each person as they deserve to be treated, and to watch every thought carefully so that nothing irrational slips in unnoticed. Marcus Aurelius. Life is almost never under our control, but in every circumstance, even the most chaotic, there exists a silent space between what happens and how you respond. That space may be small, but it defines the quality of your existence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, at every moment you have a choice. You can accept reality with humility or resist until you exhaust yourself. You can treat others with justice or react impulsively and ignite conflict. You can observe a thought and release it or cling to it as if it were absolute truth. These choices may seem invisible, but they are precisely what shape your destiny. Stoicism is not about beautiful phrases in ancient books. It is about how you handle everyday life, how you speak to the doorman, how you manage a difficult family relationship, how you respond to your own mistakes, how you treat someone who has nothing to offer you. Living as a Stoic is living with intention. It is no longer being a puppet of automatic reactions, but beginning to observe yourself. It does not mean suppressing feelings, but rather not letting your reactions be bigger than the problem itself. Stoics train themselves in 3 major disciplines. 1. The discipline of desire. Courageously accept what cannot be changed. 2. The discipline of action. Always choose what is just, even if no one else does. 3. The discipline of assent. Examine your thoughts before allowing them to govern your mind. These practices are like lifting weights for the soul. The more you exercise them, the stronger you become in the face of life's ups and downs. Cleanthes summarized it precisely. Fate guides the willing and drags along the resistant. If you embrace reality with wisdom, you flow. If you struggle against it, you harm yourself. Being Stoic is not living coldly, it is living consciously. It is realizing that every moment holds a hidden invitation to act with more presence, clarity, and self-mastery. And when you choose to respond with wisdom instead of impulse, everything transforms, not because the external world changes, but because the way you face it has changed. Quote 10. Do not panic when contemplating the full scope of your life. Do not dwell on the problems you have already faced or those yet to come. Instead, ask yourself, whenever a difficulty arises, what is so unbearable or uncontrollable about this? And almost always, your own answer will embarrass you. Marcus Aurelius. Most crises do not overwhelm us because of what they truly are, but because of the magnitude we assign to them in our minds. When we mix the ghosts of the past with fears of the future, the burden becomes crushing. But look closely. That burden does not belong to the present. Marcus Aurelius offers a simple yet powerful antidote. Isolate the now. Ask yourself, what is happening exactly at this moment? What is so unbearable here and now? This reflection is powerful because it disarms panic. Desperation grows when everything merges into a confusing mass. What has already happened? What is happening now? And what may never happen? However, when you return to the present, what seemed impossible is revealed simply as difficult. And the difficult, with calm and focus, can always be faced. It is like climbing a mountain. If you only look at the summit, the weight paralyzes you. But if you concentrate on the next step, you discover that you can move forward. And step by step, what once seemed unattainable becomes a conquest. This is the Stoic secret. Overcome 1 minute at a time. Not because problems vanish, but because you stop tormenting yourself over what has not yet occurred and begin to act in the only place where change is possible, the present. Anxiety and panic arise from the illusion that we must solve everything at once. But that is not human. The Stoics knew this. Even while steadfast, they were ordinary men and women who stumbled, but learned to rise with clarity. So, when your mind accelerates, breathe deeply and ask yourself the question Marcus Aurelius asked: what is so uncontrollable about this, here and now? Almost always, you will discover that it is not the problem that is invincible, but the fear you allowed to grow too much inside you. Quote 11. If at any point in your life you find something superior to justice, truth, self-mastery, and courage, then it must be truly extraordinary. Marcus Aurelius. Everyone says they want a good life, but what does it really mean to live well? Many confuse it with pleasure, achievements, or applause. For Marcus Aurelius, the answer was clear. Living well is living virtuously. It is choosing what strengthens your character, not just what satisfies momentary desires. Justice, wisdom, courage, and moderation are not just pretty words to decorate speeches. They are practical principles meant to guide every choice you make. Wisdom is like a lamp that shines in the fog. It shows what truly matters when everything seems confusing. It is the pause before replying angrily to a message, when you choose to think first and avoid sparking an unnecessary conflict. Courage is the flame that drives you forward even when fear screams for you to stop. It is raising your hand in a meeting to defend your idea, even with trembling hands, or daring to start a new project with no guarantee of success. Justice is remembering that every decision you make affects other lives, and that respect should never be compromised. It is returning extra money you received even if no one notices, or treating someone who works for you with dignity, even when it would be easier to ignore them. Moderation is the shield against excess. It prevents immediate pleasure from becoming tomorrow's prison. It is saying no to another drink when you've already had enough, or resisting the temptation to buy something expensive just to calm a fleeting anxiety, knowing regret will follow later. These virtues work like gears. One drives the other. When you live according to them, even the hardest days become bearable because you know you are walking the right path, not the easiest, but the most authentic. Being wise doesn't mean never making mistakes. It means learning quickly from each fall. Being courageous doesn't mean never feeling fear. It means acting despite it. Being just is not pushing someone else back to run ahead. And being moderate is living with presence, eating when hungry, spending reasonably, existing without losing yourself in excess. Marcus Aurelius asks the essential question: what am I cultivating within myself? What kind of person am I becoming? In the end, your life will not be measured by what you accumulate, but by who you choose to be. And if the answer is someone wiser, braver, fairer, and more balanced, then you are already on the right path, even if no one sees it, even if you receive no applause. For those who live virtuously carry the greatest reward, the peace of being in harmony with themselves. If this reflection sparked something within you, write in the comments. Today I choose to live with virtue. By doing so, you turn your decision into a commitment and take the first step toward a life guided by clarity, courage, and true freedom.